Okay. Okay. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Bookshops with Tarneem. احنا هالمرة راح نصور الحلقة هاي in the garden because أحس I'm in my spring era. The spring is here for 1 week and راح أعيشها بالحديقة. شفت خلال ال6 أشهر الفاتت إنه I've been leaning towards different types of books. دا أقرأ هواية business books, دا أقرأ هواية let's say historical fiction. In this video I wanted to talk about certain types of books that are very dear to me, which are very comforting. كتب مريحة. They make me feel good. They make me dissociate from the world and just shut my brain off for 5 seconds if not more. I wrote a list. Let me open my notes. I don't know if you guys can see it, but here are my book notes on most of the books. And I'm gonna start off with one that's called Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. I think I have it here. I have the كتاب الجزء الثاني مو الجزء الأول. الجزء الأول my friend borrowed it from me. I do like الجزء الأول more. To tell you more about this book, this book follows Takoko, I think. Takoko, yes. And she is a young woman who her life suddenly falls apart because she thought her co-worker would marry her. He wouldn't marry her. She decided to quit her job. She's feeling very lost and directionless in life. It's like when you have these big plans for life and they suddenly all crumble and fall apart. So she quits her job, she stays at home, and her uncle, her very eccentric, I think I would call him, her very eccentric uncle invites her to his bookshop to help him out in the bookshop. I believe her uncle's name is Satoru. Yes, Satoru. And his bookshop is in this famous street اللي خاصة بالكتب, and he sells these very specific vintage books. هذا الكتاب in specific it's very short. أنا ولا شايلة الجزء الثاني, but الجزء الأول هم نفس I think 100 صفحة, 130 120 صفحة. It's a very very short book. حتى طريقة الكتابة مالته كلش بسيطة لأي أحد يحب يبدي يقرأ كتب إنجليزية. It's not that deep, but it's a really good book, and it talks about how books can heal you and can get you out of a life slump. Even though the main character, she's not much of a reader and she doesn't like reading books, but living in this very slow-paced bookshop or lifestyle was a bit of a struggle at the beginning. بعدين بدأت هي كل شوية تحبه. And I really love this book. It's not my absolute favorite. I would give it 3.5 stars, but if you want to start off with something that's really good, very simple, a very 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 light read, I would recommend this. However, we do have a second book which I really love. It's called Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I would die on a hill for this very very specific book. So it also follows a female protagonist who quits her job, leaves her relationships, and she's also feeling very lost and directionless, and she decided to start her own independent bookstore / cafe. And her life struggles are not shown in the beginning, but you kind of sense a lot of pain and then a lot of hopelessness in the protagonist, and how she slowly regains her balance in life, even though some elements of her past life keeps following her. I don't know if I just said any spoiler. بس أكو بالكتاب هما different narrative. I think the second character اسمه Minjun, and he is like a young guy who's trying to find a job in the job market, and he never finds any job, so he applies to become a barista even though هو شهادته عالية. فيقدم على شغل باريستا يمها بالكافيه / bookstore, and he gains his life balance through, even though it's a mundane job and it's frowned upon, he kind of finds he finds himself in this job and in life. And the same thing goes with the main character. I don't know if I'm describing the book correctly, بس قريتها العام. كنت صف كنت مرحلة سادس كلية and I was really depressed. كانت عندي كوما أشياء like امتحانات and as soon as I خلصت امتحان كان عندي بين كورس وكورس هيك مجال I opened this book because the cover looked pretty and it was a very slow read for me. I don't know if it's because like the book is slow paced, but you should take your time with it because it gives you ما أعرف وقفة إحساس عندي أحسه من أقرأ كتاب معين and I'm just like I do remember crying in this book. I did see myself in a lot of characters, a lot of narratives in this book. I love it. I gave it a 5-star read. دا أحاول ألقى النسخة الأصلية أشتريها to support the writer rather than getting a copy or a master copy. But that's also very hard to get here. I'm trying. بس it's one of my favorite books of all time and كل ما أضوج أفكر إنه أرجع أقرأ. And it's يعني هو there are some elements هو مشابه ل Days at the Morisaki Bookshop بس it's on a deeper level. It's يعني هو واحد من ذي الكتب that really make you think about your life and gives you like a hug and I really love it. I would recommend this book. The third book I would recommend, I also don't have it here with me. It's called Will Prescribe You a Cat. I've posted about this on my social media. I think يعني هواية من الكتب اللي أنا أختارها that are comforting are Japanese literature based and هذا الكتاب بحد ذاته is so cute and funny. Basically people who are struggling with mental health issues, they go to this eccentric clinic for the soul. What is it called? Okay, it's called Kokoro's Clinic of the Soul and it's in Kyoto. I keep pronouncing things wrong, but I don't think you guys might. But this clinic only appears when people need it the most and for very specific reasons and دول الناس نفسهم they get recommended into this clinic in a very very weird way like a friend of a friend of a friend حتى directions اتجاه هاي الكلينيك في كلش غريب. So يجون يدخلون they find this very weird doctor يحكوا له مشاكلهم and he prescribes them a cat rather than medications or in therapy we use CBT. Yeah, it's very interesting. الكتاب كلش حلو. It's a series of short stories based on different characters. It's like one of the cutest books you could read and I know a lot of people really love this and they found certain elements of it that أنا ما منتبهت لها من قرأت الريفيوز عنه. بصراحة it's such a good book and you don't have to like cats to read this book but it's really good and I would give it a 4-star. Yes, I would give it a 4-star rating. Before we switch, I guess now with the Japanese literature off the way, I do have one more that's called I think it's I don't know if it's Korean or Japanese. I'll talk about this last. To change a bit. So the fourth book is very different from أول 3 كتب اقترحتهن. The fourth book is a fantasy and I do think يعني أنا أعتقد every person should read a little bit of fantasy in his life. It's not it's a very interesting book. It was recommended to me by Google for some reason. I was trying to search something and it was just like in the suggestions box. And I read some reviews عنه and a lot of people مدحوا بيه وكان استوى جديد. I think it's الكاتب هذا أول كتاب لها كتبه أصلا. It follows a protagonist called Nima. I do have a special attachment to this book because من كنت صغيرة كانت اسم الدلع مالتي نيما and I felt like I related to the main character. Okay, this is gonna sound weird but I'm gonna explain it the best way possible. شايفين بهاري بوتر my voice is breaking, give me a second. My gingerbread cup. So شايفين بهاري بوتر there are different houses like Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, whatever it is. Okay, so this book has similar houses بس يعني شوية متعمقين بهن أكثر and characters نفسهم تابعين لهذين الهاوسز تلقون شخصيتهم مختلفة. So there's a raven, there is a fox, there's a lion and there's more. I don't أتذكر بعد واحد بس ما دا أتذكره. So here protagonist Nima is from the Raven house. I forgot what they're called, but she's a raven. Okay, and she's a scholar. So early on in her career, King asked her to do a very weird request for his kingdom, and it's something that if she did it, it would be a bad call on her end. However, if she didn't do it, another person would do it, and she would miss on her chance of being recognized. فالحلو بهذا الكتاب إنه protagonist here, she's not a bad person or a good person. She makes good choices and bad choices, and you follow her story of her making a certain choice وتبعاتها بالمستقبل عليها بعد كذا سنة. It's a funny book. It's really comforting. The world build up, I do think it's one of the best world build-ups I've ever read. I'm waiting for the second book of the sequel. Most of my friends have read it because of me, and they do think it's really good. It's not like most fantasy books. There is not much of a romance element. It's more of a world build-up, very interesting, very funny. صراحة I do think if this was made into a movie, it would be a blockbuster. I really love this book. This is most of the books that I've written down here. بس كنت أقلب بالمكتبة مالتي, and I did pull up some books. So one of them was Almond. Okay, قرأت هذا الكتاب my book club, chapter 1 book club for Valentine's Day. And if you know, you know. This book follows, I forgot his name, Yeonji. Okay, yes, Yeonji, who has alexithymia. Alexithymia is a condition where a person cannot have feelings, and you kind of follows his life after tragic incidents that happened to him, and how he's navigating feelings and losing his mom, his grandma, and then meeting his complete polar opposite of a friend. And you see their friendship building up and having these setbacks of someone who's feeling so much and someone who doesn't feel at all. And I do love the family elements in this story. It's not necessarily a feel-good book. It's just one of those books that kind of make you, oh, that's like, yeah, that's a nice one. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10, but I would recommend it for any coming of age person or any person who is trying to يعني يحاولون يقرون كتب إنجليزية and they want something comforting rather than complicated. This is the book for you. It's like, it's a really good book, honestly. I can't describe it enough لأن أنا قريتها مرتين. قريتها قبل وقريتها للbook club, and when I read it for the book club, the story felt repetitive. I think you should read it once, and it's really good. أتذكر لسه واحدة من الbook club اسمها لبنى. She really cried reading this book, and her review was the best thing I've ever heard. Yeah, it's a really good book. I would recommend that. So the last, no, I think there's one more, but it doesn't count. The last book is The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. This follows the series of the Thursday Murder Club. It's a really hefty one. I think 500 أو 600 صفحة. I don't know. Yes, I think تقريبا 500 صفحة. I haven't read the first book, but I did see the movie. And I did love the movie. It's set in a senior home of a bunch of old people who are trying to solve murders. And they get involved in a somewhat of a murder. And it's been a long time since I've read any murder mysteries. I wouldn't say it's an easy book to read. يعني it's fun. هواية ناس طبعا my bookmark, which is cheese chai. A lot of people have read it and loved it. أنا شفت الفيلم مات الكتاب الأول, and then I bought this one. I think this is the third or fourth. I would give this an easy 3.5 stars. بس من قرأت الريفيوز على السوشيال ميديا قالوا إنه الأجزاء البقية أحسن. If you're looking for a murder mystery that's going to be adapted more into the movies, this is for you. The last but not least, خلنا نتأمل إنه التليفون يتحمل يسجل كل هذا. The Tales of Beedle the Bard. So if you know Harry Potter, you would know this is a kids stories from the Harry Potter realm, and it has illustrations. It has these very very funny yet يعني لها علاقة in the Harry Potter world. It's been a long time since I've read this one, honestly. I really love this fountain. So let me read this. So the Tales of Beedle the Bard contains 5 richly diverse fairy tales, each one with its own magical character that will variously bring delight, laughter, and the thrill of mortal peril. Additional notes for each story, penned by Professor Albus Dumbledore, will be enjoyed by muggles and wizards alike, as the professor muses on the morals illuminated by the tales and reveals snippets of information about life at Hogwarts. It's a very short small book. اشتريتها قبل هواية من أربيل، مكتبة اسمها هافال. Hopefully one day they will sponsor this video. And yeah, if you love Harry Potter and you don't want to read the full books, just read this one. I think it's 10 صفحات 100 صفحة 100 صفحة. It's very short. And that's it for today's episode of Bookshops with Tarneem. الدنيا صارت مغرب، ما أعرف إذا الإضاءة صارت مو زينة، بس I've been trying to shoot this video for a really long time and I've been procrastinating it like always. So hopefully I will be posting more reviews. The book review joy. It's going to be more about business books and I'm going to be switching back and forth. بفكر أسوي my March TBR video if you're into that. Not TBR, my March overview. I forgot what it's called, of the books I've read. So if you're interested, please let me know and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you in another episode of Bookshops with Tarneem. Thank you.